This is DD India. You're watching Express News, a program where we bring you top 100 news of the day. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded a historic and productive visit to Cyprus and is on his way to Canada, where he will take part in the G7 summit. During his visit, addressing the press meet with Cyprus President Nikos Christodoulides, Prime Minister Modi said that Cyprus and India share mutual respect for one another. After 2 decades, an Indian Prime Minister has visited Cyprus. Prime Minister Modi also said that India and the European Union are committed to concluding a free trade agreement by the end of this year. Prime Minister Modi also stressed on enhancing connectivity with the Mediterranean region and expressed concern on the ongoing conflicts in West Asia and Europe. Cyprus President Nikos Christodoulides said that both nations have historic friendship. The relations between Cyprus and India are based on shared historic experience and values. The Cyprus President also invited Prime Minister Modi for an EU Council meeting that will be held in Cyprus next year. He recalled the heinous attack in Pahalgam and extended support to India's fight against terrorism. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi and Cyprus President also held delegation-level talks covering the full range of India-Cyprus relations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was accorded the decoration of the Grand Cross of the Order of Makarios III. The honour reflects the enduring India-Cyprus bilateral partnership and shared commitment to work together for the common vision for peace, progress and prosperity. Accepting the honour on behalf of 1.4 billion Indians, Prime Minister expressed his heartfelt gratitude to the President, the government and the people of Cyprus. Prime Minister Modi also visited the historical centre of Nicosia and was accompanied by the Cyprus President, Nikos Christodoulides. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi was accorded a ceremonial reception at the Presidential Palace in Nicosia, Cyprus. He was received by President Christodoulides very warmly. Prime Minister Modi also paid his respects to the first President of Cyprus, Archbishop Makarios III. After the ceremonial reception, both leaders discussed ways to deepen cooperation in newer areas of defence industry, connectivity, innovation, tourism and mobility, alongside traditional areas of trade and investments, counter-terrorism and culture. India's Ministry of External Affairs held a press conference on the conclusion of Prime Minister's visit to Cyprus. The ministry highlighted the friendship and partnership shared by the two countries. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a telephonic conversation with his UAE counterpart Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan on Monday and discussed the current situation in West Asia and the role of diplomacy. Dr. S. Jaishankar also spoke with Foreign Affairs Minister of Armenia Arat Mirzoyan. Both the leaders discussed the ongoing developments in the region and reviewed their close cooperation. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar on Monday presided as the chief guest and addressed the students and faculty members of the Jawaharlal Institute of Postgraduate Medical Education and Research in Puducherry. The theme was Role of Environmental Sustainability in Building the Nation. A total of 80 victims of the tragic plane crash in Western India's Ahmedabad city have been identified so far through DNA matching. Forensic experts have been working to identify the bodies of those killed by matching DNA with samples collected from their relatives. The last rites of former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani, who lost his life in the tragic plane crash on June 12th, were performed on Monday. The last rites of the former Chief Minister were performed with full state honours in Rajkot. Amitabh Kant stepped down as India's G20 Sherpa, ending his 45 years dedicated to government service. Sharing his journey on a social media platform, Kant thanked Prime Minister Modi and announced that he will contribute to India's transformational journey towards Viksit Bharat. India's Ministry of Home Affairs issued a notification on Monday, June 16th for conducting the population census in 2027. The government said that the census will be conducted in 2 phases. On to business news now. The Indian stock market started the week on a strong note. At close, the Sensex was up 678 points to end at 81,796. Similarly, the Nifty at the National Stock Exchange added 228 points to close at 24,947. At the Forex market, Indian rupee ended marginally higher at 86 rupees 6 paise against the US dollar on Monday. Gold futures maturing on August 5th were priced at 99,832 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver prices for July 4th maturity stood at 1,06,696 rupees per kilo on the MCX. The wholesale price index-based inflation in India dipped to a 14-month low in May, coming in at 0.39%. India's Financial Action Task Force supports over 200 jurisdictions within its global network to build and enhance their counter-financing of terrorism measures, including through strategic use of financial intelligence, making this one of the most powerful instruments for dismantling terrorist financing networks. Bangladesh's banking sector continues to be in ailing health as bad loans in banking sector surged to 24.13% in the March 2025 quarter, raising serious concerns about credit availability and overall economic stability in the country. Global crude oil prices edged down on Monday as renewed military strikes by Israel and Iran over the weekend left oil production and export facilities unaffected. Futures on Wall Street are currently looking to extend their gains from lower levels, even as they await further details on the ongoing hostilities between Israel and Iran. Conflict escalates in West Asia as Iran on Monday launched attacks on both Tel Aviv and Haifa overnight, killing several people. The US Embassy in Tel Aviv suffered partial damage after Iranian missile strike on the city. The embassy was closed on Monday following the attack. Meanwhile, the Israeli Defense Forces hit command centers linked to Iran's Quds force. Israel says these centers are used by Iran to attack Israel through its proxies. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian warned that Iran will respond even more strongly if the attacks continue. US President Donald Trump said that he hopes Israel and Iran can broker a deal. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that Israel has the right to defend itself, but stressed that a diplomatic solution is the best way to solve the issue in the long run. The Indian government confirmed that it's working diligently to move some of its Indian students to safer places within Iran. Ministry of External Affairs said in a statement that the Indian embassy in Tehran is continuously monitoring the security situation to ensure their safety. US President Donald Trump landed in Calgary, Canada on Sunday, setting the stage for a high-stakes G7 summit in the Canadian Rockies. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, also in Calgary, confirmed that she had a good phone call with Donald Trump ahead of the summit and said that the EU was preparing contingencies in case of talks with Washington collapse. Among other early arrivals were British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, French President Emmanuel Macron and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. In the United States, 3 people were killed during Utah's West Fest on Sunday. The police said that 3 killed included an 18-year-old man, a 41-year-old woman and an 8-month-old infant. In the latest update in Minnesota, lawmaker shootings, police arrested a man on Sunday who allegedly shot dead a Democratic state lawmaker and her husband while posing as a police officer, according to the report. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk has expressed concern over the global backlash against diversity, equity and inclusion policies, warning that it's a strategic shift to scapegoat vulnerable groups. US President Donald Trump directed federal authorities to ramp up deportation efforts in Democratic-led cities on Sunday, doubling down on a politicized anti-immigration drive after major protests in Los Angeles. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has announced that the nightly curfew in the city will continue for a couple of more days due to the ongoing protests against the immigration raids. The UN Human Rights Chief on Monday urged US authorities to respect the right to peaceful assembly and refrain from using military force in the context of large protests against Donald Trump's actions while in office. Thousands of Colombians participated in the Great Silent March to protest against the wave of violence in the country. French President Emmanuel Macron warned that Greenland is not to be sold nor to be taken during his official visit to the autonomous Danish territory coveted by President Trump. The Australian court begins trial of Erin Patterson, accused for killing 3 elderly relatives of her estranged husband with a poisoned mushroom meal. And 2 countries, European, Lisbon and Spain, have been protesting against over-tourism, voicing negative impacts on their daily lives. The aim is to raise awareness about the adverse effects of unchecked tourism on local communities. Let's head for a short break here on Express News. We'll be back on DD India in just a bit. Stay tuned.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. Arey, it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome to DD India, where a billion voices unite, connecting viewers to the stories that matter. India is not just another news channel. It's the international channel that puts the spotlight on the global south, bringing you stories from the heart of emerging economies, dynamic cultures and transformative voices. As the international news channel of India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati, DD India delivers high-quality content from every corner of the globe, focusing on the stories that shape our future. We don't just report news. We connect you to India's voice in the global narrative.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News. Let's resume. Flash flooding in West Virginia claimed 4 lives, including that of a 3-year-old child, and left 4 others missing. The flooding occurred after heavy rainfall hit the northern part of the state. A 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck Peru on Sunday, leaving 1 person dead and 36 injured as the tremor triggered landslides. The earthquake shook Peru's capital city of Lima on Sunday, causing panic among residents during a mass at the city's cathedral. India Meteorological Department has recorded heavy rains in Maharashtra's Mumbai and Pune district. The weather department sounded an orange alert for Maharashtra, forecasting heavy showers. Raigad district has been put under red alert, including nearby areas of the Konkan division of the state. Heavy rainfall with thunderstorm, lightning and gusty winds at the speed of 60 to 105 km per hour is issued over Assam and Meghalaya. A yellow warning of thunderstorm, lightning and gusty winds has been issued over northern Indian states of Delhi, Punjab and Haryana. Delhi is likely to experience some respite from the heat wave as temperatures range between 35 and 41 degrees Celsius during the day. The capital is likely to experience light to moderate rain accompanied with thunderstorm and lightning in the coming week. In Tamil Nadu's Ooty, a holiday was declared in schools by the authorities on Monday as a precautionary and safety measure due to the rain and wind in the Nilgiris district. Heavy rain lashed Kozhikode district in South Indian state of Kerala on Monday along with heavy winds. The district has been put on red alert. The district collector has declared a holiday for all educational institutions for the day. Ayodhya city in the Indian northern state of Uttar Pradesh witnessed light rainfall accompanied by gusty winds, providing the much needed relief from the prevailing heat wave conditions in the region. A rare 1931 oil portrait of Mahatma Gandhi painted by British-American artist Claire Leighton is said to be auctioned online by the Bonhams. This painting is believed to be the only oil portrait Gandhi sat for, capturing him at the height of his power during India's independence struggle. In a vibrant shift away from traditional nightlife, young people in Singapore are flocking to coffee raves, daytime parties that combine specialty coffee with curated music and dancing. These events, popularized by organizers like Beans and Beats, offer a refreshing alternative to the usual clubbing scene, focusing on wellness, self-expression and community building. An exact reproduction of a Soviet-era mosaic was unveiled in Kiev's Maidan Square, offering a sense of cultural resilience and identity amid the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The mosaic, titled Borivita, originally created in 1967 by the renowned Ukrainian artist Alla Horska, depicted a kestrel soaring above stylized flowers. Miami's coastline turned into a Boca beach as thousands of Boca Junior fans gathered to celebrate the team's Club World Cup opener. Boca Juniors fans made their way from downtown Miami to join the seaside celebration. Boca Juniors is to face Portuguese side Benfica at the Hard Rock Stadium in their opening match. In the heart of Amsterdam West, a vibrant Syrian restaurant has become a beacon of hope and resilience. Hummus and Habibis, founded by Bader Daba, a Dutch national, has evolved from a humble food delivery service to a thriving eatery serving authentic Syrian dishes to a full house. Bader fled Syria in 2012 and reached the Netherlands. In August 2020, he created a social media account for Hummus and Habibis, initially delivering hummus boxes by the bicycle in the Netherlands. As the business grew, Bader's family joined him and together they transformed Hummus and Habibis into a respectable company. The 4th China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo concluded on Sunday. Exhibitors from 43 participating African countries brought their signature products at the expo. The expo included dedicated exhibitions on China-Africa cooperation brands, quality African goods and China-Africa fashion industries. About 200,000 Japanese irises in full bloom have created a colorful flower carpet in a park north of Tokyo. A giant kettle created by a metalworking firm in Niigata Prefecture is on display at the World Expo in Osaka. Craftspeople used a hammering technique on the giant kettle called suyokidoki to make it from 2 copper sheets. People from northeastern Japan have jointly showcased their region's traditional summer festivals at the World Expo in Osaka. The Tohoku Kizuna Festival was established to help the region recover from the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami. BTS member J-Hope wrapped up his solo world tour with a final concert in Goyang, reuniting members of the group for the first time in years as BTS begins to emerge from South Korea's mandatory military service. Everybody Loves Raymond. Reboot plans are not in the cards, according to actor Brad Garrett, who played Robert Barone. Garrett cites the passing of Peter Boyle and Doris Roberts, who portrayed the iconic parents Frank and Mary Barone, as the reason of a revival not happening. Chinese film stars attended the opening night of the 27th Shanghai International Film Festival at the Shanghai's Grand Theatre. The chair of this year's international jury is Italian filmmaker Giuseppe Tornatore. Director Sivaranjini J's debut feature film Victoria has been selected as the sole entry from India at the 27th Shanghai International Film Festival. The film will be screened under the Asian New Talent section of the festival. How to Train Your Dragon, a live-action reboot of a popular 2010 animated film, rode to the top of the North American box office with $83.7 million in weekend ticket sales. The much-anticipated sequel to Zootopia is slated to release in theatres on November 26th this year. The director, Jed Bush, opened up on the challenges of making a sequel and shared the new changes that can be seen in the new part of the movie. Mongolian theatre production of Cleopatra is set to make a comeback in July this year. The classic drama, directed by A. Chingun, was a huge success back in 2024. The much-awaited teaser of Prabhas starrer Raja Saab dropped on Monday. Directed by Maruti, this horror fantasy film is slated to be released in theatres worldwide on December the 5th. The much-awaited trailer of Dhanush and Nagarjuna starrer Kubera has been released. As per the trailer, Dhanush plays the role of a beggar mentored by Nagarjuna in the film. The three-day Himachal International Film and Art Festival concluded on Sunday. The festival showed 50 films for 3 days and featured workshops on mud sculpting, fashion design, modelling, dance, acting and filmmaking. On to sports news now. The 2025 Women's Cricket World Cup is set to kick off with hosts India taking on Sri Lanka in Bengaluru on September 30th. The launch of the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy for the upcoming Test series between India and England has been delayed due to the recent airline tragedy in Ahmedabad. Ahead of the first Test against England on 20th of June, Indian spinner Kuldeep Yadav said that the pitches look good for spinners. Head coach of the Indian cricket team, Gautam Gambhir, is likely to join the squad in England on Tuesday. He had returned home due to a family emergency. Batter Evan Lewis smashed 91 from just 44 balls as the West Indies beat Ireland by 62 runs to clinch a T20 International Series victory in Brady. The Indian MGD1 chess team, led by chess grandmaster Arjun Ergyasi, defeated Freedom to finish 5th in the FIDE World Blitz Team Championship in London. After a narrow defeat against Australia, the Indian women's hockey team is set to clash with Argentina in the FIH Pro League match in London on Tuesday. Midfielder Manpreet Singh became the only second Indian hockey player to don 400 international caps. German veteran Tatjana Maria won the biggest title of her career after beating Amanda Anisimova 6-3, 6-4 at the Queen's Club Championships final. America's Taylor Fritz claimed the 9th title of his career at the Stuttgart Open after he defeated home favourite Alexander Zverev in the summit clash. Carlos Alcaraz says he still looks back on his extraordinary French Open win over world number 1 Yannick Sinner with a sense of disbelief. Sweden's Armand Duplantis soared 6.28 meters to break the world pole vault record for the 12th time at the Stockholm Diamond League. Palmeiras and Porto battled to a goalless draw in their opening Group A match of the Club World Cup in New Jersey, with both sides unable to convert chances. Jacek Cunha and Igor Jesus lead Botafogo to a 2-1 victory against Seattle Sounders in the Group B opening match of the Club World Cup. And in table tennis, U Mumba clinched their first ever Ultimate Table Tennis League title with a dominant 8-4 win over Jaipur Patriots in the final. And that's it in this edition of Express News. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.